everybody. Welcome to Week 8, a wrap-up of the West Georgia Gridiron Podcast. We had some great games. We're featuring this week Jalen Davidson, Mount Zion Eagles. They had a good win. We'll get into that in just a minute. But, Mason, let's start off the show with Friday Night Football on social media. Threw out this question: who's the best high school football coach in Georgia? So I don't know if we're talking about present coaches, if we're talking about past coaches, but either way, some of these made the list several times. Westbrook made the list a couple times. Coach Shelton Felton, I love that name. Got Coach at Valdosta, of course. And then what else we got? Jeff Littleton, I'm not sure who that is. Oh, Creekside made the list. Milton coach made the list. There's Coach Shelton again. Thomas County. I think Thomas County Central's coach made it as well. Cook County. Several on this list. And then you've got Al that says Thomas County Central coach brought the program back to the championship form in a few years, and it's hard to argue against coaches in the metro areas of Atlanta 6A schools that manages to keep their core players together for a championship run. Though I'd have to give it to head coach at Buford, Grayson, or Central Carrollton High School, and that's the Central Lions. Justin Dixon says Joey King of Carrollton, your high school. And then Vernon Wilson says Lincoln County's Larry Campbell with 477 wins. Mason, you've got a top three list?
If I had to pick one in no particular order, I would just say Coach Finley at Bowden, Coach King at Carrollton, and Coach Appley at Buford.
Well, we know Joey King is the fastest to go to 100 wins in Georgia, so that settles that. Well, Mason, we had some good games on Friday. I think with your predictions, you had it right as far as win and loss column. We start off with the Bowden Red Devils taking on Manchester Blue Devils.
Yeah, this is a matchup, again, that's been pretty competitive the past few years. I mean, past 3 years, both of these teams have been in title contention. Both of these teams have been semifinalist teams. A couple years ago, they met in the state championship. Both of these teams have been top 10 when they face each other in the past. So this is an off year for Manchester. Had a lot of seniors graduate. Not the same Manchester team as the past few years. And we saw that as the Bowden Red Devils went on the road and absolutely spanked them 49-13. I had them winning 41-17, so almost spot on. And Bowden, again, atop of their region as they obviously defeat Manchester. And now with that, they got to play Tryon and Mount Zion, and that Mount Zion game is this Friday, and that's likely going to be for the region championship. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, Bowden, I mean, not a whole lot to say. They just went in there and took care of business, and I'm not really surprised.
We had perfect weather for this Friday night's games. It was perfectly a great fall, cool football weather. I loved it. And then Pepperell came into Bremen, and the Bremen Blue Devils didn't go their way.
Yeah, this one was kind of disappointing. I had Bremen winning 31-20. Obviously, they lost 21-10. And for Bremen, obviously, you got the win against Model, you got the win against Temple, but now you lost to Pepperell. And that's pretty much going to set up Pepperell and Heard County on a collision course for the region championship on Halloween, October 31st, last game of the regular season. So Bremen definitely going to have to bounce back, probably going to have to try and win out if they want a shot at the region title. But I am a little disappointed. Pepperell is a good team. They're a well-coached team. They got a good quarterback. But definitely thought Bremen had this one, especially at home.
What do you think happened here? What gave Pepperell the advantage?
Well, definitely not home field advantage because they were on the road. I would say probably, I don't know. I guess they've been more battle tested than Bremen against somewhat better opponents. Both of these teams destroyed Temple, and that's one thing they did have in common. Pepperell, all of their losses have been really close. Bremen obviously got spanked by Bowden, so can't say the same for them. But I don't know. Pepperell is a very well-coached team. I know that. But other than that, it just looks like Pepperell handled their business. I mean, it wasn't a comfortable win. I mean, it still was only, an 11-point win for them. So still just barely a two-possession game. But still, I mean, Bremen didn't get the win, and that's one they're going to wish they had back. But Bremen's just got to win out now. But just looks like Pepperell played better.
If we're voting for the most interesting mascot and logo in the state of Georgia for high school football, I'm giving it to Pepper. All right, and then Carrollton Trojans, we went on the road to Westlake at Lions. Mason, this one was, can you just fill us in on, if those that didn't attend this game, didn't hear about it, what made this game so unique?
Well, for starters, their scoreboard. Okay, so there was a guy standing next to me on top of the press box, and he was the one that was filming the game for the.
Let's stop
the
right
scoreboard.
there. You had to do the game broadcasting on top, outside of the press box.
I actually liked it. It was a pretty good view.
All right, it was a great weather.
But the kid standing next to me, he was filming, so that whatever he was filming was going on the screen. Okay. Well, then the score was working. They were able to put the score on there, but they were not able to put the game clock on there because it was lagging out. There was no play clock either, not on the field, not anywhere. So pretty much both teams just kind of just took their time. It seemed like, because there were some plays I'm just sitting there like, dude, when are they ever going to snap the ball? I mean,
we had no idea how much between each play.
There was a guy that had to stand in the backfield on some of the plays and like tell the time, keep the time on his phone.
Wow.
And then like communicate it to the referees. And the PA lady, she was actually liked how she did it. She was very engaging with the crowd, but constantly asking what the time was. She never knew.
Well, they were holding up fingers, and so what looked like 3 minutes was only 2 minutes. It was
and it was just a mess. Carrollton was only up 20 to 9 at halftime, so it was only, I guess that would be an 11-point lead for them at half. Started out the game with a forward progressing fumble into the end zone, which was recovered by Carrollton, so it shouldn't even have been a touchdown, but they gave it to him anyway.
According to what rules?
The GHSA rules.
Right. But they gave it to us.
Yeah, and then Westlake, they don't even really march down the field. Carrollton gives them so many penalties, unsportsmanlike conduct, face mask, you name it. And so then Westlake ends up inside of Carrollton field position. They get stopped like 3 times on the goal line. Then finally they get the quarterback in. So then it's both teams Carrollton went for a 2-point conversion, missed it. Westlake, don't know what they did. They might have did the same thing and missed it or something. No, their field goal got blocked.
Right.
PAT got blocked, so it was 6-6. Then Westlake did score a field goal. Carrollton scored 2 more touchdowns. But then in the second half, just like I had predicted, Carrollton blew the doors off of them, scored 28 unanswered points, and obviously see 48-9. I had Carrollton winning 45-17. So again, a pretty almost spot on prediction there. Carrollton starts off region play 1-0. They will be at home this week for homecoming against Chapel Hill, who's one of the worst teams in 6A. So Carrollton, again, staying undefeated and a strong win on the road. Cam Newton was actually at the game because that is his alma mater, Westlake. And some of the players on Carrollton's team, Dorian Barney, Ryan Mosley, Peyton Zachary, they have or do play on his 7-on-7 team. It was nice to see him there, but it was a nice crowd. It was packed. Concessions was interesting. They had fried fish, which I didn't get to have.
Congratulations. It is the number 1 concessions this year for me so far.
I didn't get to have any, so I won't rank them. But
didn't know about it. It was too late.
Good.
I was already standing in line, and they had no idea they even had fried fish. Congratulations, Westlake. You get the award for having the best, most creative, I think, so far, the concessions. I had already gotten my hot dog, was waiting in line where you're supposed to go pick it up, and they brought out pans of fried fish, Mason. If I would have had some hot sauce and mustard. But they were in the lines all night long, probably for that fish. And when it runs out, it runs out. So it was interesting. They were not calling things on us. It should have been called, and vice versa. And it just all the way around, there's no telling how we even got through that game. But we did. And I agree with you. The lady that was calling the game was awesome, and they had their homecoming. And so I loved how the student section and the fans really, and the cheerleaders really cheered on the guys and the girls that were nominated. And congratulations, I think, to Miss Jackson or whatever her name was, that won. All right, homecoming queen. And then Stars Mill, Panthers, Central Lions.
Again, almost another spot-on prediction. I had Central winning 45-10, a little bit more generous than what happened, 49-7. no surprises here. Central absolutely put belt to butt against Stars Mill. This is actually the first time ever that Central has beaten Stars Mill. It's unfortunate that it took Central this long. I mean, it took a really bad Stars Mill team for Central to get the win. And I'm not trying to say anything about Central, but kind of sucks that you couldn't beat them when they were good. But whatever. I know it was fine. I'm sure they were glad that they finally got the win, because 2 years ago when they went 10-0, they went to the quarterfinals, lost to Stars Mill barely. Last year, barely lost by 3 points in what was essentially the region championship. So I'm sure they were glad to finally get the win. Again, not a very good Stars Mill team. I think they're 1-6 now or something like that. So again, not very good. But Central, it was an important game because it was a region game, but they handled business like everyone expected.
Yeah. And then Haralson County Rebels, Model Blue Devils.
This was an interesting one. Actually, I think Model was up 17-7. They had a 10-point lead. Haralson County obviously came back 31-17. I think Colton Hudson had a pick six that sealed the deal for them. But it was Model's homecoming, which again, I don't know what's with them scheduling homecoming against good teams. Obviously, Model couldn't have guessed it this year because Haralson County went 1-9 last year. But for other teams like Westlake, it just doesn't make any sense. Jonesboro, same thing. They scheduled theirs for Central. I just don't understand it. But
Westlake and Carrollton, I don't know.
But Model, it was looking like they were in control. Haralson County came out in the second half, handled them, got the win 31-17. They're now 5-2 on the year, and this week they're going to go back home and prepare to take on Temple.
Yep. And Heard County Braves and Temple Tigers, two local teams. I was hoping that Temple would have showed up better for this game, but you had your thoughts on this, that it may not go their way.
Well, like I said, I had Heard County winning 42-7. So Temple scored 7 less points, and so did Heard County. So again, another almost perfect prediction here. Not surprised. Temple has not looked good the past 3 weeks. Really, ever since they started region play, they've not looked good. And I'm starting to wonder whether they only look good because they were playing not good teams in non-region play. Maybe that's the only reason they were looking good and putting up 60 points a game or whatever it was. But they're figuring it out now. They're figuring it out what it's like to play against good teams. I think Max Preps has Heard County number 3 in their class right now. And if you take out Fellowship Christian, who doesn't even play in the who they'll be playing in the private school playoffs, technically Heard County's number 2. So Heard County, a very good team, again putting up 35-0. Another week where they had a pretty good defensive performance. But Temple, I don't know what I mean. Think they're 0-3 in region play now.
Mason, you may have talked about this in the previous episode, but it doesn't. I think you felt that it didn't help them that they had played some teams that weren't as challenging as you hoped that they would be, and this puts them in this situation.
Well, look, when you play Clarkston, who is like the worst team in 4A, you play McNair, who's not a very good team in 1A. They're a bottom tier team. You play Tryon, who again, I mean, to be fair, Tryon last year when they came out with the schedule, Tryon was actually good. So I can't really say much about that. This year, obviously, nobody could have guessed that Tryon wasn't going to be what they were last year. So I'll give that one to them, even though Tryon isn't that good. I'm trying to think of the other non-region. Oh, South Atlanta. Like, come on now. I mean, it's not helping yourself. Yes, it helps you stat pack. It helps you look good on the record. It helps you put up points. But does it really prepare you when you have to go play Heard County? No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I would agree. Speaking of Tryon Bulldogs, they came in, played Mount Zion Eagles.
Yeah, this actually was a little surprising to me. I only had Mount Zion winning 27-13, so Tryon continues to disappoint me. They lost 41-17, and I'm not saying that I wanted Tryon to win, but I thought Tryon was a little bit better than that. But maybe Mount Zion's just that much better. Mount Zion, again, a great win, and that essentially clinches the 3 seed. If they beat Manchester, they are guaranteed 1 or 2 seed, depending on how they do against Bowden. So again, Mount Zion's region championship is this coming Friday against Bowden, and that's going to be one to watch. I mean, I don't know how it's going to go for Mount Zion, but that'll definitely be an interesting game. Again, for the region championship. But Mount Zion is essentially, as long as they beat Manchester, they're essentially a 2 seed, which is interesting because they go from missing the playoffs to now potentially a 2 seed. So incredible for them. Great win at home. Took care of business. Tryon continues to disappoint, just like Manchester. And really, Mount Zion's 7-1 now, so you can't help but cheer for them, to be honest.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is this going to be Mason's game of the week? You'll have to tune in to Thursday's show and find out. And then we're going to wrap this up with Villa Rica Wildcats at Rome.
Didn't think Villa Rica was going to lose this bad. And Rome's a good team. I had Rome only winning 38-17. So Rome put up over 10 points more, gave up 10 points less. Again, it's hard to play at Barron Stadium. It's hard to play the Rome Wolves. But for Villa Rica, a little bit disappointing here. Obviously, that essentially cuts their region championship hopes in half. They can win out, though, and get the second seed, and that's possible because East Paulding, New Manchester, Villa Rica, they're all kind of in that same area of where they are. And Villa Rica plays New Manchester, and that'll be a good one. So those 3 games right there are going to be close to decide who's the 2 seed. But Rome, it's looking like they're just going to pull away like they always do and just be the region champions, win out, probably be 8-2. But Villa Rica, it's definitely a good loss for them. It's definitely going to help them learn. It's definitely good for them to play a good team and lose. Well, obviously you want to win, but it's good for them to get the experience. And hopefully they can take what they learned from that game, improve, learn from it. But bad loss, 49-7. It's not pretty.
It's never easy to play in Rome because they usually have a pretty good team, and you got to pay $5 for parking, and they don't ever have change for you. But with that, Mason, Villa Rica wins out the rest of their games. What's the implication?
A two seed in the region.
Yep.
And that's extremely important.
It is.
Because if you're the 2 seed, 1 seed, that means you're guaranteed for like the first 2 games, first 2 rounds of the playoffs to be at home. It's extremely important.
I love this time of the year. And tune in on Thursday because Mason will get into those weekly pregame analysis, predictions, and more. We always do Fan Zone, and we find some things that we can bring your way that we hope is interesting to you and or maybe explains the game a little better. And we'll talk about how all these games going into Friday are what that means for these teams going forward for the rest of the season. I cannot believe we're about to head into week 9, Mason.
I can't either. It's blowing by quite quickly.
Right. And I want to give a shout out real quick to Bo Ball of the Carrollton Trojans' dad. He actually caught us after the game, had some really nice things to say about the show. And Mr. Ball, we appreciate you. You have a fantastic son and player. Everybody have a fantastic week until we see you on Thursday.